Hello, I'm just making a quick cup of tea and then I thought I would come on to go through some of our plans for the new houses. First we'll go with the main house because obviously that's the, do you know what, I shouldn't do the kettle, should I, when I'm trying to talk? Wait for my kettle to boil. Do you know what, having a hot tap would be a good thing in my wish list. Anyway, I'll come back. So annoying. You make a cup of tea and you put your tea bag in the bin that hasn't got a bag in. Right, I'll come talk to you now. Okay, I've got my cup of tea so I can go through now, sit down and go through with you some of the design elements that we had discussed about and that we've implemented within the design process. First off, we talked with the architect and just went through our must-haves. So the things that we really wanted as a family. So for us, we needed a minimum of 5 bedrooms. But what we wanted ideally was the ability for guest accommodation that was separate to the property, but interlinked. So we wanted, for example, our in-laws to come and have a kitchenette of their own. So when they're in the morning waking up, they can go make themselves a cup of tea, enjoy the space and sit down, relax, have their bedroom, have their ensuite, feel they've got their own sort of sanctuary, kind of their guest accommodation when they come and see us. But they didn't want to feel too separated from us. So the architect designed a roof structure that would link the annex to the main house. But essentially they were separate. So there was a walk space. So you could go from one space to another and not feel like you're all sort of living on top of each other. So annex was key. We also wanted a minimum of 5 bedrooms. And what we ended up doing, because we've got so much square footage, we've got 8,000 to play with, we had the downstairs come up with some ideas where we had entertaining spaces, but also spaces that had additional accommodation. So we ended up going from the needed 5 bedrooms to 6 in the main house, and then an additional 7th in the annex. So yeah, we had a few more bedrooms to play with. Just to recap, you enter on the ground floor. So you've got the kitchen. We've also got the bedrooms on the ground floor because we are already elevated and then the land drops. So you get the most views from the top, and then the property goes down into the land and then out. So as the land slopes down, the house goes down. Reason for that, we needed to lower the visual impact of this property in order for it to get through planning. We've got a lot of volume here and it sort of fills the space and the land, whereas we are going to reduce that volume, spread it across the land a little bit more, and we go down, so we hide some of the space. When you first enter the property, we wanted a bit of a wow factor. I have always wanted, so has Matt, one of these wine store cellars that you can light up, and it could just be this sort of piece of art that when you walk in it just looks lovely, practical, you put all your wine in there, but also it's just lovely. So we had to have one of those. So we did design, when you first walk in, this wine store with glass and lighting. So past the wine store, which is sort of the first thing you see, you have doors that go into another space, which has got the downstairs toilet. It's also got stairs that lead downstairs, which goes down into what is a basement, but you've got all access to the garden on one side, so it's only a basement on the back end, not the front end. And then you've got double doors that then sort of let you into this sort of huge light space and all the views, so you can see across. And it's going to be a contemporary design in its kitchen. I loved my shaker kitchen at the old house, but I think I'm definitely leaning to a much more contemporary kitchen with a little bit less going on. The one thing I did find with that kitchen, and I was very, very aware of this when I was doing Leet House Kitchen, is that with a shaker hand painted door, it does chip and it does mark. And I know my children are older now, so they're less likely to sort of be going around in little, scooters and things like that, bashing it. But you'd always get some marks, especially when you open the drawer on the top. Yeah, I'm moving away a little bit from the shaker style, hand painted sort of look. I know when I did Elite House, and just go back to that, we looked at a spray lacquered kind of finish on those kitchen doors rather than hand painted, because with any rental, the wear and tear, I just knew I'd go down every time and just be like, oh God, it's scratched again, and I'll be getting my paintbrush and my roller out. So that was key when we were kitchen shopping for that property. And with this one, I want kind of big and bold and really hard wearing and sustainable materials, but something a little different, I think, to what I had previously. Contemporary kitchen, island a must. Got a big dining table going in there and a lot of glass, but not over the top, because we don't want the property to overheat and we don't want to overpay on glass. So key things when we were going through with the architect was, I want to be able to put in glass that is a standard height, because as soon as you go over that sort of, I think it's 2.1, I think from memory, I can't remember, 2.1 height on glass, you then get into bespoke glass and the number starts going up and up and up. So things like having standard height, sliding doors, fixed panes and things like that, we're going to help with costings. We have some sort of a copper material going into this that adds a bit of warmth and texture, and it will oxidize over time and give you that sort of, not rusty, but that sort of more worn look. So that's going on some of the outer sort of fascias and things like that. And we were looking at lots of different materials when we were in the showroom with the architect. The architect has designed an overhang on our property. We've got a green flat roof going on with solar panels, and the overhang just comes over the edges of the walls of the property, which means when the sun comes, and we will literally be facing kind of that morning sun that comes all around and sets over there, it won't be so intense into the property. So a little bit of fact there on the glazing. When you're in the dining space, you've got interlink with dining and eating and socializing around the island, and then you drop down some stairs, and that's kind of the drama of this place, because you're moving in layers and sort of heights. You then go down to sort of a more sitting space that leads straight out to the first patio, which is at the top. We've also got another set of stairs in that room, and I was really keen to have stairs that would have like a textured wall, like bringing some texture, so some stonework. I don't want this place to feel too cold and contemporary. So the use of materials, we've got to use red brick from the Chiltern Hills. That's the area we are in. We are going to do, which I said in my previous vlog, some reclaimed tiles and bricks within some of the wall structures to add some detail. We want to add some brick within the property and have texture when you're walking down these stairs. And because it's all open, you'll have the light that flows down. And there was an inspiration image I'll show on here of what I was really looking for. So the first floor, you've got the open plan kitchen, you've got the sitting area and the dining space. You've also got, which leads off from the foyer, a den, we've called it, but it's not going to be a den. It's either, if we had younger children, a playroom, because then you're on the same floor when you're cooking, you can see your children. But for us, I think we're going to sort of have it as a more adult space that you can enjoy quiet time, bit of reading. You might even want to just sit in there and do a bit of laptop work or just chill, pre-dinner drinks, I don't know. An interesting room because you've got access out of that room to the annex, which I'll talk about. But you've also got a lovely bit of glass that you can see into the courtyard when you first enter the property. So that's that space. We've also got a boot room and a laundry room, and I was really keen to have these separate. With animals, a lot of you have dogs, they get dirty, and I was forever fed up in my one utility room having the dogs come in from a walk filthy and my washing in that room. I was like, this is mad. I'm trying to clean clothes in a room that I'm going to bring in the dirty dogs. So for me, it was really crucial that I had the separation between washing and drying and everyday utility functions like bringing the kids in from going from a walk, the dogs coming in, taking wellies off, all that kind of thing. So separation of those two. Also got the bedrooms on this floor because they get the most view. We're on the first floor, we drop down, we've got the master bedroom with dressing room and ensuite, and we've got such a cool round window that we've designed in this space that looks out over the views and then down to the swimming pool, which would just be amazing. And we've also got a balcony on that, so you can go out there, have a cup of tea, and feel like you're on holiday. So we've got that. We've also got 3 other bedrooms up here and ensuite for each room. And I think that was quite key for us as well, is having each bedroom have its own ensuite. So there's no fighting over sinks or toilets and showers and things like that. So that was key. So that's our first floor. In our ground floor basement, I sort of call it ground floor. First, it's sort of like an upside down house, but it's not. It is ground and basement, but I call it sort of like first floor and ground. We have got down here a bit of a fun space. We've still got areas we haven't designed because we got planning eventually and said to the architect, we'll work out the rest when we've got the planning. But for now, we're thinking of this space to be our fun, entertaining spaces that as adults and as children and as teenagers can enjoy. So we've got 2 other bedrooms down there. So the house is a 6-bedroom house with an annex, that's 7. And we've got down here a cinema. We want another kitchen down here. So when we're down there, we can actually entertain and not have to go upstairs to go get drinks, cups, plates, all that kind of thing, microwave popcorn, all of that. We've got a games room that we want. So our boys are growing up, so is Scarlett, and we've had so many great times when we've had friends over, and we've got the barn. It's not the warmest, it's not the most attractive, but the children have loved the pool table that we've got in there. It was one actually the previous owners left us. It does the job, and we've got a ping pong table, and the kids play darts, and they just chill and they hang out. So we really want that set up. So we kind of want it to be a really cool like space that kind of feels like you've gone out to a bar. So we want a bar down there and a cinema room and a lovely lounge that walks out to the patio that's on the lower floor that gets closer to that swimming pool, because it's a big space and we want to link and interflow and feel kind of like you've got different zones for different reasons, but they all interjoin. And then we've got the 2 other bedrooms and an ensuite down there and a huge plant room, which at the moment is far too big. We don't know what to put in there. Matt would love an indoor pool, but that's not going to be on the list. So yeah, we've got an outdoor pool, Matt, so you can't have an indoor one. So that is the basement, and we've got multiple patios out there as well that interlink, and then a swooping path that takes us through the original rockery that was created by the previous owners and is beautiful. We want to keep that and interlink and go down into the rockery down to the pool. So the design of the house follows some of the traditional methods of this area with the Chiltern Hills, the brickwork. We've got the chimneys, there's a lot of houses around here with tall chimneys, and we've added those in for obviously the swallows and the bats and things like that. But we also wanted, and don't laugh, we also wanted to give a small nod, I'll say a small nod, to its Italian roots here. When we first viewed this house, you felt every ounce of this Italian family through the design, the decor, the lifestyle actually that they led, because we've got, and I don't think you'll see on here, but we've got over there these huge banquet tables where they had like all their family round for Italian meals. We've got a pizza oven here. We've got olive trees, big substantial olive trees. We've got water fountains. We've got so many things that feel like they shouldn't be here. They should be in Italy. But in a weird way, and there are days where we get so much sun, it's very big here in terms of the sky, and when it's warm, and it could be any time of the year. We were out there last winter, I think it was, in the sun feeling warm. You feel like you could be abroad. And I kind of love that feeling that you don't feel you're here, you're somewhere else, and it's a lovely feeling. So we want to give a nod to an Italian sort of design for this, and that comes in some of the planting, and I'll go through some of the landscape design, but the ways that I want, like huge big pots, like really big oversized pots, and the brickwork and the olive trees, and I want to add a bit of terrazzo, but large form terrazzo. I want to add some vibrant kind of statements in terms of some of the sculptures or the big vases, things like that. So that is something that's still to come, but just to give you a flavour of what we're thinking. And I will go through more details when I come to the landscape design and how we got and where we've got to on that. So stay tuned for that. Sorry, I had to pop out. So I'm coming back to video, the last bit, which was to talk about the annex, because I haven't really gone there. Talked about it in terms of being our 7th bedroom for the house. It's got its own kitchenette, double bedroom with ensuite and a sitting area. So it's almost like its own self kind of accommodating guest suite. And it means then that when we have guests come, they can stay a little bit longer than, a night or two, and they are in their own area. Lastly, linked to that is the double garage. So that's our storage and where we can put a car people put cars in garages these days. But yeah, all the odds and sods that go in a normal garage. So that is the other bit that I had to share with you.